Hey there, friends. How's it going today? A quick Ozzy-inspired lesson for you here for this weekend or whenever you're watching. This is inspired by his song, Mama, I'm Coming Home. This is not going to be a full lesson. I'm not even sure if this is exactly note for note how it's being played, but it's going to capture the melody and the rhythm of what you hear. And more importantly, it's going to give you something fun to sink your teeth into. Whether this takes you a few minutes to learn or a few hours or a few days, I'm confident you can kind of sink your teeth into this one and have a good time, right? The first thing I want to show you are these little two-finger chord shapes we're using. We're going to be walking down the E major scale. Okay, what I'm doing there, right? From melodically, it's just that is the E major scale, starting on this note E, going down to this note E. I'm just playing every note in the scale on a single string. Now, that's very simple and sparse. We want to add something to it. And the cool thing about playing in the key of E on the guitar, E major or E minor, is that we can use the open sixth string and the open second string to fill things out. So for example, we could take that same major scale walk down I showed you with these three fingers, thumb, index, middle on your picking hand. For if you're right-handed, that's your right hand. Just put them on the strings like this and then go down that scale on the thinnest string, right? That's it. You can do that over and over again. I recommend sort of memorizing the frets if you can. You can also go up. If you know songs like Ode to Joy by Beethoven, I don't know if Ozzy was a fan or not, you could do that. Nice three-finger fun with just one finger on your fretting hand, right? Now, what are we going to do to sort of spice this up? The next part of it is learning these sort of two-finger chord shapes that are going to be used as we go down the scale. From a theory point of view, this is called harmonized sixths, right? The two notes we're playing are all in the E major scale. They're a sixth apart from each other. You don't need to worry about the theory. Just know that there's two shapes we're going to be using. There's the diagonal shape, which happens up here on 13 and 12. It happens on 8 and 7, on 6 and 5, and on 1 and 0. Okay? I'm playing this with my middle finger and my index finger, right? 13, 12, 8, 7, 6, 5, and 1, 0. Okay, now that's not really musical just yet, but these are building blocks. Now the other shape is going to be the sort of, it's not really diagonal, it's more like sideways or vertical, I guess. This is going to be 11, 11, 9 and 9, 4 and 4, 2 and 2. Okay? Now again, that's not musical yet, but now we can play the whole scale using those harmonized sixths. So 13 and 12, 11, 11, 9 and 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 4, 2, 2, 1 and 0. Okay, now I recommend either take a screenshot of this, get my practice note, download, right? Memorize this. You want to be able to kind of go up and down fluently. Again, this is the perfect kind of thing. I like to practice on the couch if I'm watching TV or a show or YouTube or something. I will just play this over and over again, kind of get lost in it until I'm not really thinking about it with my brain anymore and my hands kind of know what to do. That's an example of me just going up 3, down 1, up 3, down 1, up 3, down 1, all the way from low to high. I can do it the same thing from high to low. You could do the Ode to Joy thing or anything else, right? So you want to internalize those. So now let's talk about the finger picking pattern. This is the part we're playing with our picking hand here. So if this gives you trouble, that's fine. Just use these 4 fingers and just pluck strings 6, 3, 2, 1 together. You can have fun with the whole song like this, right? But let's bring in the picking pattern. It's going to level things up, but it's going to sound really good if you can nail it. If we muted the chords, right, and we just worried about our picking hand, it would be... The way I think about this is you're going to do a pinch with your thumb and your ring finger on the thickest and thinnest string at the same time. Then you're going to do the third string and the second string with your index and middle finger. So pinch, 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 pinch. Again, practice that with just your picking hand without worrying about chord shapes just yet. The rhythm's a bit tricky because you kind of have that little rest in there. Rewind that if you need to. You need to get that rhythm under your belt, right? Once you have that, you put your hands in those same chord shapes that you should know, and you're going to do the pattern. I would recommend doing the pattern once per each chord to get started with. Okay, that's going to be enough to chew on for a bit, and you're going to find probably that the tricky part is getting the volume of each string just right. You want to make sure that that second string doesn't ring out too loudly, because it's going to be really ready to bark loud if it's a dog, right? Because it's an open string, it's just going to resonate immediately. Whereas the third and the first string, because they're fretted and they're pretty high up in pitch, you need to give it more volume. So you need to give the third string and the first string more volume, but you need to not overdo it with the second string. So kind of think of your picking hand here as a bit of a mixer, like a DJ or a production mixer. You need to hit those panels on the production board to get the levels just right, right? So once you get used to doing it with one chord for each picking pattern, here's where it gets tricky. We're going to have to change the chords midway through each pattern. The rule of thumb is just before the second pinch, you change chords. Okay, I'll do it again slowly. My levels are kind of off there, my volume levels. Okay, those last two I did were pretty good. I did about 8 in real time as I was recording this. The first 5 or 6 were kind of rough. I was making that second string too loud and I was muffling some of the strings. So understand, this is tricky. And if the finger picking pattern feels like a deal breaker and you feel like you can't do it, ignore the pattern and just do the 4 fingers all at once. You're allowed to do this. This is just fine. Settle into this. Spend a few days like that if you need to, right? So anyway, that's going to be it for the main part. Now let's give us a little thing we can do, like an interlude. I think of something to change things up. What we're going to do here is do an A sus2 chord. Okay, it's the thinnest 5 strings, right? Open, second, second, open, open, open. Thinnest 5 strings only. And then the picking pattern we're going to use is strings 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3. And we're going to stop there and then transition to the next chord, which is an E. But it's going to be an E with just one finger. Okay, so check this out. Learn that first. When you're comfortable with that, we're going to do this fun thing with the E. Okay, it's just like using those harmonized 6s on 4 and 4 and 2 and 2, right? So that's the main idea here. So before I go, a couple quick recommendations from my Song Notes website. These are other lessons that use the same techniques I teach here. One is Lola by the Kinks. I have a couple lessons teaching that. One teaches a full song, but lesson 165, I talk about the intro riff, right? Here's what it sounds like when I play it. And I share this because what I taught you there, those harmonized sixes on 4 and 4 and 2 and 2, that's a big part of the intro to this song. So it's lots of the same stuff happening sort of in the key of E, give or take here. Another one that I recommend, there's a Wyclef Jean song, Gone Till November. That one, it sounds like this. Give it a listen. And I share that because this is in the key of E as well, and it's using a lot of the droning open E string, and we're doing some melodic stuff on the thinnest strings that's coming from the E major scale mostly. Okay, so that's another cool thing we can do in the key of E. Another one is open chords in the key of E. This is lesson 202. I talk about how we can take our E major and we can take our F sharp minor, G sharp minor, A major, B major. These are all like these open stringy voicings that are using lots of open strings, and it makes the chords easier to play. And another one that's similar to that is going to be Melissa by the Allman Brothers. It starts off with this E, F sharp minor with the open chords, open strings, right? G sharp minor. Here's what it sounds like when I play it properly. And then one last one in the key of E that I'm going to recommend is Yellow Ledbetter by Pearl Jam. And the way I teach this one is in the key of E as well. It's all E, B, and A. But instead of doing bar chords, I'm going to use my regular E, and I'm going to use this open version of B and this open version of A. Here's what that sounds like when I play it. And in that one, I do teach some of the little intro lick stuff as well, if you want to learn that. All right, friends, so I hope you found this helpful. If you want to get my practice notes for this lesson, something you want to follow along with, print out, and just sort of follow the tabs and everything, and the step-by-step build-up, that's over on my lesson webpage, songnotes.net is what it is. And you can get that there. I'll also link out to all the other lessons that I referenced, right? And you can have some fun with those, right? The cool thing about playing in a certain key, whether it's the key of E, like this one, or something else, is there certain tricks that every key kind of has. And lots of songs are going to varying degrees, embrace some of those key-specific tricks. And that's the cool part, right? So once you recognize these tricks between songs, it's a really cool thing because it kind of helps you learn this and that a lot faster. All right, so I'll see you in the next one. Head on over again to songnotes.net, my website, to get all the good stuff for this lesson. Until the next one, my friends, take care and bye-bye.